What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time here for the baseball before football season. I'm not sure if everyone's in there, but football does start tomorrow. Big here on RotoGrinders, scores and odds, action, anywhere you can get football information. There's an avenue for you in some of the better collective neighborhoods somewhere around there. But anyway, we still have baseball shows. There won't be one tomorrow, but we are going to do them on Saturday throughout the rest of the regular season. Here with my normal crew, we got TJ and Tim. Tim, what's going on, dude?
Yeah, not much. I know everybody's all excited for tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's going to be awesome. I can't wait. We're going to be starting at 9:30 a.m. for the People Show, me, Bobby, and Dean. But tonight's we still got baseball to do, so I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you guys.
Yeah, TJ, what's going on with you now? I haven't seen Devin in a long, I don't know. He'll probably be on some. Do you just produce every show? I hear you on all the podcasts. Have you taken over everyone's job here at RotoGrinders?
So Devin is head of the whole media content side of things, right? So he does all the scheduling. Yep. He's the big boss man in that regard. Steve is the full-time producer. So Steve is doing stuff Monday to Friday every week. And then I'm the weekend producer. So Saturday and Sunday. And so that means as soon as football season starts, I'm busy man on Sundays. I'll be up bright and early with Tim, starting with the People Show, doing that full block. Uh-huh. And then I'll have the showdown slate with myself and Will later in the evening as well. But so it's not like a literal 12-hour workday for Steve during the week. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the evening podcast. So any of the podcasts that are at night during the week, I've been doing those ones. So
yeah, I heard
evenings and weekends kind of guy, like a part-time worker in school.
Yeah, busy man, TJ. We've got baseball to talk tonight. Actually, I did talk about football. And I got to tell you guys about Splash Sports here real quick before we get into this. So Splash Sports, you can skip the trip to Vegas. They have Survivor and Pick'em pools. So you can do those on other places too. There's that big Circa thing where you got to go to Vegas, pay a proxy, all that. You don't have to do that with Splash Sports. You can sign up for that. It's available in 34 states and Canada. There's $1 million Survivor pool week 1. Pick one winning team each week for a chance at $1 million. But don't use the same team twice. You can join us in week 2 for the RotoGrinders Survivor Revival tournament. It's a $20 entry with over $20,000 to be won, plus RotoGrinders premium prizes for the top 20. Check out your links. You'll be battling me. I'm going to play, I think, all 3 of the $100 main contests over there. They look pretty nice. Yeah, TJ's in there. We'll see all of those. There's a little RotoGrinders behind the scene ones, but it looks like a nice site. I've checked it out. Going to be in there if you want to battle in any of those Survivor type contests. Jump in over to that for football. All right, baseball. Tim, let's talk starting pitching at the top here because it's a little interesting. You've got Dylan Cease, who you can get to him if you want to play him tonight. He's not overly unattainable. Even in lineups with Ohtani on DraftKings, I mean, you can make that work if you want to play those. There's enough cheap players. The problem is his form hasn't been great, and there's some reasonably good, cheaper options, not to mention some other really good pitchers who might not have the absolute best matchups, but they can also compete there. So my question for you from the cash perspective, the single entry perspective, are you paying for Dylan Cease or are you going down? I would probably go all the way down to like a Tobias Myers, something like that, where you save a lot of money and all of a sudden your bats become superstars across the whole line.
Yeah, I'm still going to be paying up for Cease in cash games, and he is currently in my single entry lineup as well. I know that he has not been in good form, like you said, but I think some of that's bad luck. I think some of that's just variance. I'm still going to attack this Giants lineup, which is filled with pretty guys that have pretty high strikeout rates. So Cease is still my guy. We have him projected for 7.75 strikeouts. So for his price tag, that's pretty good. So I mean, I'm fine eating that chalk. TJ in the large field streets may have a different opinion, but I think in cash games, you should still be rolling with Cease.
Yeah, TJ, what do you think about tournaments real quick? We'll talk about some other things. I think if you're not going Cease, you clearly go to like a Tobias Myers. That's probably your combination on DraftKings anyway. But even on FanDuel, Tim, you're probably going to roll with Cease over Myers or anyone else as your SP1.
Is that for TJ?
Yeah,
No,
I messed it up here. Tim, basically, I bounced it back to you. Even on FanDuel, one pitcher, you're going Cease.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah. On FanDuel, it's even easier, I think, to get to Cease. But I think if you didn't want to go that high, I would go Myers at 7.5 because Logan Gilbert and Schwallenbach and Barrios' prices on FanDuel are absolutely ridiculous, and I wouldn't even play them. I wouldn't even play them in GPPs. So I mean, Cease and Myers are the two best cash game options. It really depends on what you want to do with your bats. But for me, in cash games on FanDuel, I'd still go with Cease.
All right, TJ tournament Cease projected 45% own on DraftKings. Higher, lower, fade, lock. How are you handling him? What's the rest look like?
I'm only playing one lineup today, prepping for football, not messing around with 150, and so I'm just in my one team. I don't have Cease today. My pairing is Ober and Myers. Those are my two favorites for tournaments. I want to be making sure on tournaments and DraftKings I'm getting some Schwellenbach and Gibson. But other than that, Cease, Schwellenbach, Ober, Myers, Gibson, really the only 5 players I would consider today, the only 5 that I would be keeping in my pool. And Myers as my top option. I have him and Ober in tournaments as my main lineup.
All right, so let's talk Bailey Ober real quick because he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 highest owned pitcher. Seems like someone you like a little bit more if you were MMEing over the field today. What do you like about his matchup?
He's just really cheap. He's a really good pitcher, and he should be more than that. I don't absolutely love the matchup, but this isn't the same strong Kansas City lineup we saw earlier in the year. They're missing some guys. It's a little bit watered down. And so I'm really prioritizing Ober. I would, even if I was running 150 lineups. I think he should just be about $1,000 more expensive.
All right. How about we get the likes up too? We've got Spidey bombs today, TJ too. We're only at 21 likes. We can get more than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll drop the first one at 50 and see where we go from there.
All right. Anyone else you would expand? I think TJ had 5 or 6 pitchers. Tim, is there anyone else you would expand to have in a large MME pool?
I'm not sure if did he mention Kyle Gibson at all? Is he in your pool at all? He is.
Gibson is probably my third favorite for tournaments behind Myers and Ober.
Okay, yeah, that would be the only other. I really like his price on DK 7.2. Really great matchup. So I think he's a really, really solid GPP play.
I think the bat was liking Jack Leiter today. Anyone have a take on that? Maybe not as like the absolute must-have play, but he's cheap against the Angels. Anyone wondering on Jack Leiter today?
No, none of that. None of that for me.
Tim?
No, I'd rather just go Gibson and Myers, or like Myers and Ober, or Gibson and Ober. Like live in that range if you wanted to go cheaper. I don't trust Jack Leiter. I absolutely do trust the bat though. So I don't know, but I don't see that. I don't like that.
All right, and then of the Schwellenbach, Gilbert, Barrios, maybe not even Barrios on DraftKings. You're right. The price on FanDuel is a little nuts. If you had to play one of those other higher priced pitchers, Tim, which one would be your favorite on that? A Gilbert, a Schwellenbach, Logan Webb, TJ's Bailey Ober?
Yeah, if you had include Ober in that, it would definitely be Ober. Right. I'd rather pitch over Webb and Gilbert for sure.
All right, so it looks like Bailey Ober, both of Tim and TJ, I think would take him over our current projection of 12% ownership if you were playing MME. All right, pitching out of the way. Let's talk offense in general. TJ, I'm going to throw it to you for tournaments. We've got Milwaukee against Coors. We've got the Dodgers, and we've got Cleveland also against a pitcher that the Dodgers are throwing out that's been extremely hittable this year. Where would those guys rank for you? Any sneaky stacks? If you're playing one team, who's in that? Let's talk about offense in general today.
Milwaukee's definitely up there in my top 2. I'd probably have them second. I do just want to clarify just so nobody gets confused. That one is in Milwaukee, not in Coors today.
Yes. But
Milwaukee's still like top stack on the board. Them and the Dodgers are going to be the top 2 for me. the Dodgers are pricey. They're tougher to get to. And so in my single lineup, I'm running mini stack with the Dodgers and a full stack of Milwaukee today. Third, I would have Boston. Fourth, I would have Minnesota. And those are literally the only 4 teams I like. Every other team after that is just like, yeah, I'd play them. They could do okay today. My next favorite's probably Cleveland, but it's genuinely only 4 stacks I feel good about today. And it's the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Twins, and the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's not 90 degrees with the wind blowing out everywhere like it was a month ago, Tim. Where would you be looking for offense today? I know from a cash game perspective, it's sort of, there's not like a specific game. You're basically, when the weather cools down a little bit, you're able to pick more individual hitters instead of going with a team strategy. That's sort of how it's playing out for me today.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some Dodgers are going to be in your cash game squad. Definitely some Brewers. Those 2 teams should be you should get heavy exposure to in your cash games and probably your tournaments as well. And then the Twins are kind of an interesting decision because we were all talking pre-show about the pinch hit risk for Minnesota, and their prices and their matchup is fantastic. It's kind of up to your own risk tolerance, whether you want to get to any of those guys that have pinch hit risk in your cash games. So it's kind of a tough call, but they are in a fantastic spot, I think, for GPPs.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that in just a minute when we go position by position. But I need to talk to you guys about the Favorites Pod Contest. If you're looking for a plus EV contest this NFL season, our friends over at the Action Network have one for you. Their podcast called The Favorites is bringing back their free NFL Pick'em contest this season. It's totally free to sign up at favorites.actionnetwork.com. Just 5 picks against the spread every week, cash prizes for the top 10 finishers, 40 G's to first place, $100,000 prize pool, thousands up for grabs each week. Totally free to play. The contest just went live. You can go to favorites.actionnetwork.com to sign up and compete for a $100,000 prize pool. Totally free. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna have to jump in that. As the company spokesman reader, definitely need to go jump in that. Sounds fun. So I'll make sure to go check that out. All right, let's go catcher Tim. Will Smith, not in the lineup today. We were probably eyeing him quite a bit today. There are a few other catchers you might want to play. You can pay up, and this is one of the few slates I think this year where you can pay up on DraftKings if you want to. So I was kind of hoping Smith would be in the lineup. You can go to Contreras, who's $5,000 for Milwaukee. He was a little bit more expensive, but I think, or maybe that was on FanDuel, one of them. He's $5K on DraftKings. You can get to him pretty easily, along with Ohtani, and have your lineup, reasonably good today. Is that what you want to do, or are you going to go down to like a Gary Sanchez, go down even further? Very strange you have money to spend on DraftKings today, catcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think Contreras is the obvious cash game play. Which is weird to say because he's 5,000, but I think he's so easy to get to. It's just not prohibitive enough to stay away from him. So he's definitely going to be my cash game catcher. If you don't want to spend that much money on a catcher, I think Gary Sanchez is the next best bet, batting cleanup for this Brewers lineup. So I think 3,600 for Gary Sanchez is okay. And if you don't quite have the 5K, I think Ryan Jeffers is in a fantastic spot at 4-4. He's not like the best in the best cash game spot, but I think if you don't have the money for Contreras, he's my next favorite catcher. So I think Jeffers is a strong play. And then I don't mind like somebody like Cal Raleigh or Travis d'Arnaud as one-offs in GPPs. Like catcher is really not horrible today.
Yeah, it's very strange. Normally we come on here. Normally it's catcher and second base. We're spending as little as possible. And that might hold true for second base today, but not for catcher. We'll get to that in a little bit. TJ, where would you be looking at? Do you like Contreras? What's the single entry team look like? Who would you be targeting in MME?
I do like Contreras. I have Gary Sanchez, though, in single entry today. I really like Travis d'Arnaud and Ryan Jeffers in that upper mid-tier. Connor Wong against Crochet, I think, is a fantastic part of a Red Sox stack or one-off today. Same with Danny Jansen as a potential cheaper option. I don't think I would go below that other than Austin Barnes, though. Like, anytime Austin Barnes plays, I always play him. Nobody else really does. He's always super low owned, but he quite frequently has good games when he's out there. He's not Will Smith, but he's $2,500 on the best stacker on the slate. So I think Austin Barnes at 2,500 is a great play.
All right, if we can get a couple more likes. There's not as many football, college football, MMA. There's a lot of stuff going on today. We get to 50. TJ will drop a Spidey bomb. I'll drop some
two
bets.
at 50 and two at 75.
Yeah, I'll drop some football bets. I was 39, the top 39 units at Scores and Odds last year. The Scores and Odds team, too, by the way, is up 11 units through 2 games. Unlikely that pace continues. That would be a world record unit pace overall, but the team's been hot out at the gates there, and there's a ton of plays to go through over there for some sports bets. All right, first base. We have Ohtani. You can get Ohtani. The question is, do you want him on DraftKings at first base or the outfield, Tim? I think you're probably he's probably a cash game staple today, even at 7K. Sometimes it's tough to get these guys. It's not today, even spending up a catcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is an absolute priority in cash games. I think I'm leaning to him at first base, but doesn't necessarily have to be the case because I also like Rhys Hoskins quite a bit at cash. So you could obviously play Ohtani in the outfield, and I really like Freddie Freeman. But there's only, even though salary's not like that, prohibitive today, it's still like you can't get to all the Dodgers. So you might have to make some concessions on your Dodger exposure. So if you don't want to get up to Ohtani, you can play Freeman. I mean, he's in a fantastic spot also. So, but definitely it's one of those 3 at first: Ohtani, Freeman, or Hoskins in cash games.
And then TJ, for tournaments, what would we be doing? Well, actually, I want to go back to Tim real quick. FanDuel, Ohtani's in the outfield. What are we doing over there? You got a Freeman. You've got Vlad, who's just, again, a very horrible start to the season. Dude has been on fire for months now, not stopping, even in a matchup against Schwellenbach. I'm not scared to roster him if you have to. Freeman, Olsen, or Vlad, probably one of those guys going to make it into your FanDuel team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could also play Contreras, right? I mean,
yep.
I think really at 3-3, he's completely fine to be in cash games as well. So I don't hate that. It's either Contreras or Freeman, really, in my opinion, and your catcher first base spot on FanDuel.
Yeah, and then TJ tournaments, Ohtani is projected for 20% ownership between first base, outfield on DraftKings right now. Where would you stand on him, and who else would you like? I like the Hoskins call. I think there's a couple sneaky plays, maybe like a David Fry. I think is slightly interesting. Where would you be looking at from a GPP perspective?
Yeah, Ohtani and Hoskins are my top 2 as well, but I love Freddie Freeman as a discount first base option in comparison to Ohtani today. 5,300 for him just looks really, really good. I love Vlad in tournaments, projecting him for sub 5% ownership today. Not a great matchup against Schwellenbach, but Vlad doesn't strike out very much, and Schwellenbach, if he's not striking guys out, does get hit pretty hard. So I think he's very good tournament play today. Matt Olson, a good sneaky tournament option as well. And that's pretty much it for me there.
All right. Second base, we are currently at 43 likes, just a few more away from Spidey bombs and some NFL bet. Let's go to second base. Tim, this would be one of those part-time pinch hit risk players who's popped up hitting towards the absolute top of the lineup. Edward Julian for Minnesota. We were talking about this pre-show. Is he someone you want to roster? Second base is easily the weakest position on the board today. And I think our consensus was, I don't want to roster a single second baseman. So why not just take Guy, even if he might get 2, maybe 3 at bats? There's ways you can get 4 if they don't bring in a lefty or anything like that. But if a lefty comes in, Julian's out of the lineup today. How are we handling him? He's basically one of the keys to unlocking, either spending up on Cease, getting Ohtani, getting the bats that you want elsewhere today.
Yeah, second base is really ugly today. You can go Julian. I think I am going to go Julian in cash games. I do have him in single entry also, but I mean, the pinch hit risk is massive. I mean, he could only get 2 at bats. You could pretty easily pivot to Brooks Lee for $100 more, betting 6. I really like the Twins today, so that makes a ton of sense. On FanDuel, at least, Gavin Lux is 2,700. I don't want to pay $4K for him on DK, but 2,700. Gavin Lux, I think, is okay on FanDuel. So yeah, it's pretty tough spot. Like Tommy Edman again, he's 2,700 on FanDuel. So I think FanDuel, it's a lot easier to get away from Julian. But on DK, I think it's Julian or Lee for me.
Yeah, you gotta just not a position. If we're spending up on catcher, we have to sacrifice a position like second base today, in my opinion. So that's what I'm doing, going one of those cheap plays. TJ, that's maybe the consensus. I mean, Julian's ownership very high, 22.4. Romy Gonzalez, not a huge power bat. We'll have to face Crochet once, maybe twice. His ownership, those guys are eating up 40% of the player pool on DraftKings today. Seems like maybe you might want to get away from that from tournaments, or would you want to play into that chalk?
I don't really want to, but I also do want to save salary there. There are a lot of other cheap options you can go with. Will Wagner at 3,100 is an option. Brooks Lee, like we talked about, a potential option. And then if you can get up there, I think I would like Gavin Lux up at 4K. That's probably the one who would be my preferred option today at the position. But it's really not that nice. Like I want to spend down as well. And I guess Julien would probably be my favorite, but I don't feel good about any of these guys.
Yeah, just a very weak position overall. I think the consensus: save money if you can at second to spend up elsewhere. We'll get to Spidey bombs and some bets in just a second. I'm going to give you the last read as a company man today. And of course, that's for RotoGrinders Premium. It's on sale. You can get your first month of RotoGrinders Premium for $15 off. If you want a longer term relationship with RotoGrinders, you can get a 6-month combo sub for $469. That saves you $250 instead of buying it month by month. And if you're not a fan of the long-term commitment, you can get a month for $120. You can get a real short-term 3 days for $19.99. You get the articles, you get Lineup HQ, you get the SimLabs, you get all that sort of fun stuff with RotoGrinders Premium. Make sure to check that out if interested. Football right around the corner, a good time to join. All right, Spidey bombs. Let's get a couple of those out. We're at 49 last I checked. They'll get us to 50 if we're not, TJ. Let's get these home run bombs out of the way.
All right, first Spidey bomb of the day, we are going with just the Spite J3 because he didn't want it. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. as the first one. And then Spidey bomb number 2, I did promise 2. We'll get 2 more as soon as we get up over 75 likes today. Royce Lewis, the next one. So we got Vladdy Guerrero and Royce Lewis, the first 2 Spidey bombs.
I don't have my odd screen up in front of me. Do you know what do we got for those?
I'll check that right now, but I will say it's important to get over 75 likes because we got somebody who is better than plus 1,000 for the third Spidey bomb.
Ooh, all right. I like those.
I think I know who that is, DJ. I
put that in the chat. I gotta get this early.
Vlad is plus 525, which is why we like him today in a tough matchup. Yeah. And Royce Lewis is also plus 525.
Yeah, I like those odds for both of them. And slide me to plus 1,000.
I'm going to do William Contreras plus 500.
Nice. I now see why. You know why. It's who I'm looking at over 1K.
Yeah. I wonder if that's real. I got to make sure. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Gonna need to get to 75 for this secretive player, everybody. Let's go to third base. What are we doing here, Tim? A position like you have Jose Ramirez. You definitely outside of Ohtani, he's the second priority on slate. An absolutely amazing matchup for him tonight. And it's cool out east, but it's still warm. These are late afternoon games out west today. It's 85, 90, both in San Diego and for the Dodgers game. So this is really good hitting weather. You're going to want probably exposure to a Jose Ramirez. Are you getting to him on both sites in your player pool if you're spending up the cease? I think that's probably pretty hard for you on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm actually not getting him on either site, but certainly playable for anyone who wants to play him. I'm going with Muncy right now at 4.9 on DK, and then I'm debating on FanDuel Royce Lewis, Muncy, and I'm also thinking of Jose Miranda at 2,500 on FanDuel. And at 4,100, I really like him for GPPs on DK. So I'm kind of debating what I want to do at third base but it's one of Royce Lewis, Max Muncy, or Jose Miranda for me.
Yeah, Muncy's that nice mid-tier player. I think Miranda on FanDuel certainly warrants. like you, if you're spending up on Cease, I completely understand that. I'm not spent. I'm on Myers, I think, on FanDuel.
You're going Myers. Okay.
So I have this, like the bats look so good. I'm willing to take that risk today with Myers, and Cease sort of a little bit down, but I mean, like you said, Cease can come back with 10 plus strikeouts at any game and look absolutely spectacular. TJ, for tournaments, would you spend up to a Jose Ramirez? Do you like some of the mid-tier plays, a Jose Miranda, and anybody else?
Royce Lewis is going to be my favorite guy here. Max Muncy, number 2, only 4,900. Batting cleanup for Muncy today, I think, is a really nice option. Joey Ortiz, I really like as a cheapie for, no reason in particular today. But like me some Joey Ortiz as well. LTs for later, maybe not. But that's basically the extent of it for me. Royce Lewis, Joey Ortiz, Max Muncy, and then Rafael Devers, I think, is very interesting in the lefty-lefty. I don't think you shy away from the lefties in these Red Sox stacks today, because Crochet is going to throw like 50 pitches. So even if he gets them out twice, they're going to have 2 or 3 more at bats against a terrible bullpen after that. I do have a question for you guys. Who do you like better, Lux and Edman, or Adames and Will Wagner?
I love Adames today. That's very, very hard for me to.
I know, right?
That's hard.
I do too.
You're plus 1,000. I think I just got a plus 1,100 on the site too. So we'll see if we're all on the same guy for this one. I've sort of deduced who it could be here. Let's get to shortstop. Normally a position we want to spend a lot of money on. However, today it's Bobby Witt against Bailey Ober, and we don't have basically anybody else. We just talked about Adames. Adames is my guy. I'm playing him on both sites. Looks to be in an amazing spot today. Too cheap. He could be priced. He's 36 on FanDuel. He could be like 38. He's 48 on DraftKings. He could be 58 on DraftKings today, right? And I think he'd still be in play. This is the guy. One of the guys for the price, Tim. I think you have to prioritize today.
Yep, he is my shortstop on both sides, so in complete agreement with you. I think that, obviously guys like, Mookie on FanDuel are super interesting as like a pivot. But I'm going to go Witt. But yeah, I mean, there's some cheaper options that you can get to on FanDuel if you really don't want to play Adames. But on DK, there's really nobody else that I would even consider playing outside of, maybe Brooksley as part of a stack. But really, I only want to play Adames.
Yeah, that's my guy. If we're on Adames,
and of course, Bobby Witt's going to be 3% owned. So I mean, that's great for GPPs, but for cash games, it's only Adames.
What's the tournament brain looking at, TJ?
Adames, my favorite guy here. Edman coming in number 2. Outside of those guys, I think Bobby Witt, even though I like Ober at super low ownership, is very interesting for tournaments. And that's it. Like, those are literally the only 3 guys I have interest in today. Maybe Zach Neto.
Yeah, I was looking at him a little bit, but I mean, Adames is just such a better play. It's not much more. I made sure to prioritize Adames.
Okay, here's my 2v2 for my one team for you guys. Should I go Ober and Julien, or should I go Gibson and Lux? Gibson and Lux would give me a 4-man Dodger stack.
Probably that one. I think the Gibson Lux.
Gibson Lux. Tim,
if you're already stacking.
Yeah, I mean, I say go with the stack.
Yeah, I just really wanted to play Ober, but whatever. That's okay.
If you like Ober, figure something else out. I like your call on Ober, especially at the ownership that he's on tonight. I would try to finagle something, TJ, to get him in there. I think that's a good call you have.
What if I get Churio out of here? It gives me 3,800 in the outfield. Is there another Dodger or Milwaukee player I can play, or do I just go Wallner in that situation then? I guess I could go Pajes. All right, people don't care.
Yeah, you can. you'll figure it out. Let's go to the outfield for the people. So we have Ohtani, on DraftKings, either first base or outfield. He's outfield on FanDuel, 4,900. Tim, do you have him, right? Is he the priority spend even with the Dylan Cease? You can't see I have Jose Ramirez. I have Shohei Ohtani. and you don't, but you have Dylan Cease. So this is where our FanDuel team, we differentiate a lot. I think all season long. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I don't think I generally don't disagree with your takes. So I certainly don't think you're doing anything bad. But like, I don't know. I have Ohtani. I'm playing Ohtani. I want Ohtani, and you can't get him. So what does your outfield look like then?
Yeah, so I have to go down to like Jackson Trio, Blake Perkins, Wyatt Langford. I like quite a bit. Taylor Ward on FanDuel at 3,100. I like quite a bit. That's why I didn't really understand the whole lighter thing, because I really like some of these Angels bats. Like, I don't want to like full stack them, but I think they're pretty interesting for GPPs. But anyway, and like Michael Harris at 4,200. I think there's just quite a few guys. Lane Thomas, I think, is fine. Dallas Garcia. There's a lot of guys in the high 3s to mid 4s. And then obviously we got the cheap Blake Perkins at 2,800. So, I mean, to me, I think there are ways to get a pretty loaded outfield and not breaking the bank. But, going the way you're going is completely fine. I mean, obviously, Ohtani can put up, 40 fantasy points. So
it's like two players in one spot. It's like a running quarterback, and it's like having Justin Fields at 5,000 on DraftKings tomorrow, right? So like, I don't know. What about, you mentioned what was it, Perkins at 2,800? You got Luke's at 2,300 too, leading off for Atlanta. They call up a 30-year-old who was hitting well, and he seems to be doing good. They throw him right into the lineup spot. That's the season that's happening for the Blue Jays here, TJ. What do you think about his lineup spot? Just 2,300. If that gets you everything else you want today, is he someone you would consider either tournaments? I'm even looking at him from a cash perspective. Simply, that's like the cheapest player in a good lineup spot of basically any team that I want to use in any spot today.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with going Luke's there. Betts is my favorite option, actually, even above Ohtani in the outfield today. But I will say that I think interesting screen name, Captain America Bleeds, in YouTube brought up an interesting point that I apologize, Tim, if you said this and I just missed it. But Mookie on FanDuel at shortstop, that's my favorite option there on FanDuel. I personally didn't bring that up, but Mookie on FanDuel at shortstop, that's where I'd want to play him on a slate that's pretty weak at shortstop today. That'd be my top choice. But rest of the outfield, Betts, Ohtani, Wallner, Taylor Ward, I really like. Jackson Churio, absolutely love him today. Tommy Edman is playable in the outfield. I'm getting to him there. Blake Perkins is a super cheap option if you need to get there. And then Tyler O'Neill, another player I absolutely love.
All right, I think we're getting close to somewhat maxed out on likes. We needed 75. We're at 59. We've been at 59 for a while. If you can click the like button, please do. We want to get that home run bet out to you. I've got a couple NFL plays I'll get to you towards the end of the show too, as well, from Scores and Odds. All right, we'll get some questions now. Just in a little bit, we've got the YouTube chat. I'll get those. I always like to go to the live stream chat for those participating in the RotoGrinders Discord first when I do the show. So I've got that pulled up. Taking a quick look, I don't see any in there, so I will divert back to the YouTube. A Julian home run tonight. Tim, 1 at bat? No, 2 at bats, maybe 3 at bats. Sure. I wish if he didn't have a pinch hit risk, he would be, a stone cold lock today. I don't think I'm going to go out and call a home run for him, but as a cheap play today, I think we're all on board.
Yeah, as a DFS play, I don't mind it, but for a home run bet, I can't do it.
All right. We've got L21 TJ. He wants to know your favorite stacks on DraftKings today.
Milwaukee, LA, then Boston, then Minnesota, then LA Angels.
All right. So I see TJ. Oh, no. Tim answered this in chat, but if you guys aren't watching the chat, we'll go over this again. Favorite starting pitcher on FanDuel tournaments and single entries. So this is right up your alley, Tim. You had Cease and Myers. Those would be, of course, my 2 favorites as well. I almost prefer Myers over Cease today, simply for the bats that you can get. And I think you're on Cease over Myers. Those are the 2 clear guys. Is there anyone else you would expand that to? Let's pretend everyone knows about that.
Yeah, I'd go Bailey Ober, who's like 6%. I'd go Kyle Gibson, who's like around 5%. Those would be my only other 2 that I would recommend.
All right. Chris, it looks like you've got. Chris, you're going to have to narrow that down. That's like a 4-part question. Narrow that down a little bit, and we'll try to get that on the YouTube chat here. Let's see here.
Myers Otani for FanDuel cash of those options.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that? Am I just not understanding the question? All right. I guess
it's just kind of he worded it kind of differently, but I agree with
Gibson or Myers with Otani or Cease with Larnack. So even though Cease I think is the preferred cash pitcher, if it's to get Otani over Larnack, then I would go Myers over Cease.
Yeah, I would do Myers Otani. I would agree. Thank you for you guys both being smarter than me to be able to figure that out. Jay wants to know my favorite single entry stack on FanDuel. So I'm going to divert that to Tim real quick, and then I'm going to pull up FanDuel and give it one last quick run through for you, Jay.
Tim, what was the question, Brett?
Favorite stack FanDuel single entry.
Ooh, I really like the Twins tonight. Just be aware of some of those lefties, but I don't mind some of the righties too. So I think it's the Twins for me.
I think my sneaky stack, and I like all the players too, are the Guardians tonight. I really like them to be able to get to the Dodgers. That's one of the best hitting spots of the night. And if you're just trying, like, it's so simple, people will be doing Dodgers with Myers, right? You can make that work pretty easily. You can do the Brewers with pretty much whoever you want to pitch. Those are a little too simple. I think the Guardians might be able to get up there tonight. Let's see, what else do we have? That looks like it for the live stream chat. I'm going to go back to YouTube. Hoskins or Profar for a home run tonight. If you're ever picking between those two, it's always Rhys Hoskins for a home run, correct?
I mean, it's closer than it appears because Profar has been weirdly good this year, but yes, it would be Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah,
and he's got the best hitting weather of the night too.
Yeah, Hoskins for sure on that one. I've bet Profar home runs quite a bit this year, and I've come up on the good side of that because so earlier in the season he was like 900, 1,000 to hit home runs, and I hit a couple of those. Currently, you're probably not getting that, but Profar has been good, but definitely Hoskins if you're just home run chasing without question tonight. Let's see. Second base, 2,900 or less. He's got 3 Brewers. I mean, FanDuel tournament. I mean, Julian is what, 2,400 over there? Is there
I was looking at that one. I think the answer for me would be Edman as the top option, but or if you want to use the full 2,900, then Jimenez.
Yeah, I think Edman, and then who else is down over there? Not it was like 2,700, I think.
And there's Lux too.
Yeah, Lux at 2,700 is who I was looking at.
Lux, him as well.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we get a couple more.
We are over 70 likes, so we just need 5 more people smashing the like button, and we're up over 75 for 2 more Spidey bombs, including one guy over plus 1,000. And the first 2, if you missed them, were Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Royce Lewis, both plus 525. And Tim Yardy and Tim's Tater was William Contreras.
Yeah. Flying Armbar, Tim, I see you answered this in chat, but you want to know any Braves? You sort of glossed over them, but like Michael Harris is certainly, he's cash viable on both sites.
Both sites.
You've got Ozuna. I think it's a reasonable stack. What do you make of them from both a cash and tournament perspective tonight?
So if I was playing any Atlanta bats in cash or like single entry, it would really only be Michael Harris and Matt Olson. But I mean, in a large field GPP, they're fine as a 5-man stack if you get to them. But Harris and Olson are my favorite 2 out of that group.
Yeah, Barrios has just been in such good form that I think it's just taken them a little bit outside of my view for cash tonight, except for Harris because he's just cheap enough. He's hitting leadoff. Sort of fits the. But would you play Harris or Wyatt Langford if you had to pick between the 2 tonight?
Assuming you're talking DK.
Yes.
I probably, man, that's tough. I'd probably go Harris still.
It's like a coin flip. I can't decide.
I still think I still think Harris is like the better overall hitter, even though Langford's like red hot right now. But you're not supposed to play like that, so you should be playing Harris.
All right, TJ, have we reached the appropriate amount of likes? I am refreshing. I see 80, so we have hit it. So we get the Spidey bombs. Joey Ortiz plus 1,100. I found that on Fanatics as we were going on here. That was your secret play. Let's talk about him.
All right. Joey Ortiz has been hitting. I wish he was higher up in the lineup, but he's been hitting with massive power against left-handed pitching all season long. I don't have plate IQ up in front of me, but I believe his ISO is well over 260. Somebody's saying the Spidey bombs aren't showing up for them scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That probably means that you're not watching live. So make sure you hit that live button or refresh. So because you're probably watching on some kind of a delay, which he wouldn't be able to hear me because he's watching on a delay. And so he wouldn't notice that yet. So I should type that into the chat. Anyways, I'll do that when I'm done talking. Joey Ortiz, Spidey bomb number 3. Number 4, Tyler O'Neill. I mentioned liking the Red Sox as a stack today. O'Neill is my favorite one-off. So they are scrolling right there down at the bottom. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Royce Lewis, Joey Ortiz, Tyler O'Neill, the 4 Spidey bombs today.
All right. Put the screen share back up. I've got scores and odds pulled up, TJ. I'll throw a couple of bets at the people looking for football. I'm big on Kenneth Walker this week. You can go, his baseline is 66.5. Just crushes at home, crushes and wins. Big home favorite. New regime. Go hit all the alts on DraftKings. That was the best place I could find those earlier. Let's see. I like the Buccaneers. This total by the points down to 41 for this one. I also think you can find these. I dabble. I look through this. Do you guys ever just look through the sports books and see what they offer? I do this for NFL, so I like go through. And
you're the only one on this thing that has more than one place to bet.
Yeah. So well, Tim, you have DraftKings, right, Tim?
I have 2 books that I can bet.
Yeah. Tim's got 2.
Yeah. So if you guys have DraftKings, it's a sneaky bet. This game to be the highest scoring, high pace, no defense, specifically on the Washington side. Buccaneers, a little bit of a wild card defensively entering the season. We'll see how that goes. A small bet plus 1,700, but definitely like the over in that game. A lot of the other. Devontae Adams to score a touchdown. They were plus 200 on DraftKings. Go get that if you have bet 365 plus 210. Did you see what the Chargers? First, he owns the Chargers, and then did you see what the social media account did, or am I the only one who followed us? They posted a pic of him either on or comparing him to the garbage flavored Pop-Tarts, and you don't do that to Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen. I saw that. I saw that tweet. Yeah,
like he's gonna get a. They're down in the end. They're down inside the 10. He's getting plays called for him. Does he come down with a catch? There's going to be plays called for him, even more so than they normally are, in my opinion, today. So a lot of the other things I've posted, I get CLV on basically everything I post. I don't think I move the lines. I don't think the people that bet me move but I just think enough other people also see it that the lines move on some of the things I post is basically what I'm saying. But those are all the recent ones that haven't moved too far that I would still recommend. You can go get those. Tim, anything you're looking at for football? Or are you saving that for tomorrow's show? They got to tune in.
Yeah, I mean, I bet a couple things. I did bet the Titans plus 4.
All right, I like that. I bet that earlier, very early, like a month ago. It was at like 5 or 4.5. So I think the 4 is still playable. TJ, you looking at anything in your singular Canadian book?
My favorite bet of the weekend for MLB is Arizona plus 6.5. And then in terms of, let me just switch over here. I did all my favorites when I put them into a prize picks card as well. So I'll just look at that from a player pick 'em and prop standpoint. Cooper Kupp, more than 68.5 receiving yards. Kenneth Walker, more than 67.5. With you there. I got a lot of these from Scores and Odds. So Lad McConkey, more than 3.5 receptions. Diami Brown, more than 17.5 receiving yards. Dalton Kincaid, more than 51.5 receiving yards. Jaleel McLaughlin, more than 12.5 receiving yards. favorites.
Yeah, I think I went followed. I bet now it's very hard to bet everything that goes up on. There's like a lot of picks.
Yeah.
But I think I did bet most of those ones that you put on there too. So
Those are all my favorites. Yeah.
yeah. So the team's
I'm with
off
you on
to,
the Walker.
yeah, team's off to a hot start on scores and odds. If you're looking for any picks or anything like that, give it a look, guys. You won't be disappointed.
Britt, who's your cash QB, Fields or Richardson on DK?
To be determined in the morning. So I have not. I literally haven't made my cash team. Normally, so it's a long running joke. For like how long have I been here, RotoGrinders? Talking with Dan and a couple other guys. They want my cash game lineup like 2 weeks ago, but that was pre-kids, pre-sports betting. Now that gets done probably at some point tonight after the kids go to bed. So a long time has passed since I started here at RotoGrinders, but a long running joke behind the scenes is, hey, I need the cash lineup like 3 weeks in advance, but haven't gotten to that yet. I would say Yoshivas, wide receiver. I like Kenneth Walker quite a bit of running back. One of the cheaper quarterbacks, no need to spend up, and take it from there. Sound good?
Pretty close. Sounds good to me. I think I got that.
All right, let's get out of here. It's been fun. Again, we'll still be doing these on Saturday through the regular season for baseball on Saturdays. There will be no baseball show on Sunday because, we're all going to be doing something else at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, not worrying about baseball DFS. So make sure to tune in next Saturday. For Tim and TJ, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we out you.